Out of the courtroom drama at the Karen Reed trial, including heated exchanges between defense attorneys and their own witnesses. Dan Abrams standing by. First, let's go to Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, George. Good morning. The defense is now preparing and introducing evidence suggesting it shows there was a law enforcement conspiracy to kill Karen Reed's boyfriend, John O'Keefe, and cover it up. And it led to the most electric moment of the trial so far, that fiery exchange between defense attorney Alan Jackson and his own witness, a cop accusing Jackson of trying to get her to lie on the stand.
Did you understand my question?
Yes, I did. You threatened to charge me with perjury during our phone call prior to the first trial if I didn't lie on the stand right now. I'm telling you, I did not see anything factually.
Karen Reed's defense attorney Alan Jackson sparring with the witness the defense itself called to the stand, former Canton police officer Kelly Dever.
Do you want to be here today now?
I am put on the stand in a murder trial. I don't know why I'm here. I have no connection to this case.
Reed is accused of reversing her Lexus SUV into her Boston police officer boyfriend John O'Keefe during a howling blizzard in January of 2022. The defense rolling out its theory of what happened, that Reed did not crash her SUV into O'Keefe that night, but that he was killed by others and that investigators covered it up. It's something Reed's lawyer claims Dever witnessed.
Did you tell those law enforcement agents on August 9th, 2023, that you saw Brian Higgins and Chief Berkowitz go into the Sally Port together and alone with the SUV for a wildly long time?
That was my recollection at the time.
But on the stand, Dever refused to repeat it, claiming she made a mistake, saying she wasn't even at the station at the time.
I cannot make that statement that you're wanting me to make on the stand because I've advised that that would be a lie.
The defense also calling to the stand the friend of the man they say is at the center of the alleged conspiracy to cover up O'Keefe's death. The lead investigator in the case, State Trooper Michael Proctor. His friend, Jonathan Diomedes, asked to corroborate a group text in which Proctor made derogatory comments about Reed in the hours after O'Keefe was found dead.
Mr. Proctor says, from all accounts, he didn't do a thing wrong. She's a whack job, and then uses the C word to describe. Is that accurate?
That's accurate.
By afternoon, the defense pressing its conspiracy case, saying Reed never hit anyone with her SUV and that it was an animal which caused these lacerations on O'Keefe's arm, calling to the stand a forensics expert who examined these very images.
Those wounds were inflicted as the result of a dog attack.
And after court, Reed denying that anyone from her team pressured Kelly Dever to lie under oath. But Dever's shifting testimony is unlikely to put to rest the unfounded allegations of a police cover-up in this case. The trial is now in its 7th week. Karen Reed has said her team will likely need another week to finish their case. A reminder that first trial lasted 11 weeks. George.
Okay, Matt, let's bring back Dan Abrams. Why would the defense call a hostile witness?
They knew she was going to be hostile. She made a comment previously that helps with the defense's conspiracy theory about the car itself and whether police could have had access to it, etc. So they wanted to call her to get that into evidence. Now, she cuts both ways because, on the other hand, you can see her in court there making it clear that her position is, what am I doing here? What do I have to do with this case at all? So she's a witness where they knew that there was going to be some conflict, but in the end, they felt that it was worthwhile.
And she's one of 2 hostile witnesses that they called, and we just heard in Matt's piece those problematic text messages as well shared.
Right. So you have a different witness who comes in to testify about those. So rather than calling the guy himself, right, Michael Proctor, who was called in the first trial, seems he's not going to be called in this case, but instead you get in all of those text messages without allowing him there to provide any context, et cetera. Now, I will say that the text messages themselves do provide context here, and there was more information that was brought out that I think does help the prosecution, particularly when you talk about text messages referring to girlfriend hit the cop boyfriend. That's the theory from the moment that this happens in these text messages. And that is the theory of the prosecution. So again, another witness, which I think defense calls, but cuts both ways.
Well, you think that the witness who testified about the wounds could be even more important.
Right. If you believe the witness who testified that these were dog bites and not the result of getting hit by a car, I think that's reasonable doubt. That in and of itself, because that is the heart of the defense's theory, that these were dog bites, that there was a fight, and then there was a cover-up in an effort to frame. And so if you believe that these were dog bites and not the result of getting hit by a car, that could in and of itself be reasonable doubt. You had an expert who testified about that. Now, there were problems with the expert's credentials and how she got involved, et cetera, but critical
Did
question.
dog bites look anything like getting hit by a car?
Look, I'm not the expert. I will tell you that I look at those, and it's hard to figure out exactly what they were from, right?
Just like the jury.
Right,
You're not the
exactly.
expert.
Exactly. And remember, it's reasonable doubt. That's the question.
That's all you need. All right. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that.